Welcome back everybody. Today we're diving into a very special challenge, our very first viewer requested solo run. Big shout out to Blue Metal Knight for this one. They asked us to take on Pokemon Emerald using Spinda, and honestly, this is going to be interesting. Now if you have a Pokemon you want to see me attempt, drop a comment down below and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Who knows, your pick might be next. Spinda is a mono normal type Pokemon. Although Spinda only has one immunity of Ghost, it makes up for it by only having one weakness of Fighting. Spinda's stats are very straightforward, with each of its stats having 60 base points. With their base stats totaling 360, they are also the 360th weakest Pokemon. Kinda interesting how that works. In Generation 3, they only have one ability and it's called Own Tempo. This comes in handy more times than I thought it would. Own Tempo makes it so you can't get confused. Spinda has a pretty meh learn set for moves, with its most powerful move coming in the form of TMs. Most interestingly, it can learn Teeter Dance, which Spinda is known for. On the useful side of things, it can learn Hypnosis and Dizzy Punch in the late 20s, which are great early game moves. Later in the game, Spinda learns great moves like Return, Psychic, Calm Mind, and one of my favorite moves, Rollout. We name our Spinda Metal Knight, which is misspelled, but it's the only way I could get the name to fit. So, our first battle with May goes great and we defeat her in just a few moves. The first gym is going to be a tough one, only knowing normal type moves, but at level 12, Spinda learns its first different type move, Feint Attack. Feint Attack is a 60 base power dark move. This will help us a ton in the first gym. Along with getting up to level 14, we head into the gym and battle against Roxanne. Their level 12 Geodude starts to go for Rock Tomb and we knock them out in 4 turns. Their second Geodude goes down in the same 4 turns. When Nosepass comes out, they end up going for Harden 2 times, block once, and then after that, they finally start going for tackles. By the time they start to hit us, it's too late for them and we knock them out, obtaining our first gym badge. The next gym battle is going to be one of the hardest ones yet. With all of Brawly's Pokemon being fighting type, we're walking into a serious type disadvantage. By this point, Spinda has reached level 17 and we've learned Psybeam. Psybeam, luckily, is super effective against fighting type Pokemon. I get a little bold and decide to just skip the grinding and challenge Brawly immediately. Brawly leads with Machop, who wastes their first turn setting up a bulk up. This lets us two-shot them with Psybeam before they can even land a hit. Next up is Meditite, who does have better typing than Machop, but much worse moves. Their only attacking move is Focus Punch, which means as long as we land a move every turn, they literally can't damage us. Then comes a real challenge, Makuhita. This thing is bulky, and if it lands a boosted attack, we could be in trouble. But just like Machop, it wastes its first turn using Bulk Up, leaving it wide open for Psybeams. And to seal the deal, we land a critical hit on the second turn, knocking out Makuhita and securing our second badge. With beating Brawly way earlier than I expected, this puts us way ahead of schedule. Before leaving Dewford Town, we quickly grab up the Silk Scarf from this guy in town, giving us the option to boost our normal type moves for the future, but for now, we stick to using the Quick Claw. On Route 110, we run into May, who's now packing 3 Pokemon. Wingull barely gets a chance to react, going down in 1 hit from Uproar. Combusken tries to set up with Focus Energy, but that just gives us enough time to two-shot them with Uproar as well. Last up is Lombre, but it doesn't stand a chance either, it falls in 2 turns. At this point, Spinda is rolling through everything in its path. But that's about to change, because up next is one of the most annoying gyms by far. The next gym is going to be the Electric Gym in Mauville City. This wouldn't be a problem if Magneton wasn't on their team. If it was just a bunch of Voltorbs and Electrikes, we could take them out, but because of the defense and resistances that Magneton brings to the table, we need to grind up a little bit. We grinded up to level 29, and we also learned a few new moves. Most notably, we used the move tutor outside the gym to learn Rollout, and once we passed level 23, we learned Hypnosis and Dizzy Punch. Dizzy Punch is a 70 base power move that has a chance to confuse the target. This battle was a lot tougher than the previous 2, but it ended up going a lot better once we got a little lucky and didn't get paralyzed from Electrike's static ability. Voltorb is up first and we hit them with 2 rollouts to knock them out. Out next is Electrike, who gets hit with the 3rd rollout, knocking them out in 1 hit. Now, because we didn't get paralyzed, Magneton goes for Thunder Wave, and that gives us enough time to knock them out with the last 2 rollouts. Their last Pokemon is Manectric, who gets taken out with 2 Dizzy Punches. This battle was a little too close for comfort, with us getting stunned by Paralysis on the second to last turn, and then getting hit with Shockwave that brought us down to 6 HP. Either way, we got the badge, and it's time to go up to Mount Chimney after stopping at Meteor Falls. I've gotta say, I'm very proud of myself for how many trainers I've managed to dodge. I'm taking my time, making sure I don't accidentally run into one, and it's saving a ton of time in the long run. After sneaking through Route 112, I finally reach Meteor Falls, only to find out I need to walk all the way back to Mount Chimney. Great. Once at the summit, we immediately get into our first big battle with Team Magma. This fight goes surprisingly well. We open with Dizzy Punch and quickly shift into rollouts, knocking out their lead Pokemon in just a few turns. Zubat is up next, but it goes down instantly to our rollout chain. Then comes their ace, Camerupt. To play it safe, I put them to sleep with Hypnosis, then chip down their health with Dizzy Punch. Turns out this was overkill, and we took them out in just 2 hits. With that battle all wrapped up, it's time to descend the mountain and head straight into the next gym in Lava Ridge City. In this city, the gym is all about Fire-type Pokemon. This is not a good or bad thing for us because we're a normal type. I try to skip as many of the trainers in the gym as possible, but I don't really understand how this gym layout works, so I ended up battling a few of the trainers. We go into the battle against Flannery at level 33. Flannery leads with Numel, and we immediately start rolling out. Numel gets obliterated in 2 rollouts. Slugma comes out, same fate. Camerupt, gone. Torkoal, absolutely deleted. This was without a doubt one of the easiest gym battles we've had in a long time. With Flannery out of the way, it's time to head back to Petalburg to face off against our dad. Now that I've played Pokemon Emerald a few times, Norman's gym is either a huge time save or a huge time loss. See, if you rush into the battle underleveled, you're screwed, because the only high-level Pokemon you can grind against are on the other side of the region. So before heading in, I take a quick detour to fight some of the trainers to make sure we're at a decent level. I tried doing the whole gym in one go without healing all the way up. This was a bad call. I was still low on HP from fighting the trainers, and Norman absolutely demolished me. So I do the smart thing, I go heal up, clear out the remaining trainers for extra XP, get another level or 2, and go in again, this time with a real strategy. The battle against Norman starts out with us knocking out Spinda with a single Dizzy Punch. We try first turn to hit them with Hypnosis, but we miss. Slaking tried to use counter this turn too, which makes it a net 0 for both of us. We try for Hypnosis the second turn and land it this time. With them being asleep, we start to go for Dizzy Punches. After 2 Dizzy Punches, they wake up and we decide to try to put them back to sleep. We miss first try again, and we decide to just try to land some Dizzy Punches while they're loafing around due to their ability Truant. They're now in the yellow, and on their attacking turn, we try to go for Hypnosis again to make sure we don't get hit by counter. Once again, we switch back to hitting them with Dizzy Punch, which brings them right down into the deep red. Sadly, they used a Hyper Potion and healed off all of the damage we just did to them. Even worse is that we're starting to run out of power points for Dizzy Punches. Eventually, they wake up and hit themselves in confusion, which helps a ton. We hit them with one more Dizzy Punch while they're loafing around, but the next turn we aren't so lucky, and they hit us with a Facade, doing almost half of our health. The next turn we knock them out with a Psybeam. Vigroth comes out, and we 2-shot them with Dizzy Punch. Linoon is their last Pokemon, and we kinda need to get lucky here. They end up going for Belly Drum, which is a move that halves your health to give you a maximum attack buff. Along with them losing half their health from Belly Drum, we hit them with a Dizzy Punch and knock them out in 1 hit. We defeat our dad, claim our 5th badge, and get Surf from Wally's dad. We are officially past the halfway mark in this challenge. It's time to take a little break from the gym battles and shift our focus to Team Aqua. These goons have taken scientists hostage in the Weather Institute. We storm the facility, taking down grunt after grunt until we face Shelly, one of the Team Aqua admins. After a quick fight, we clear out the building, rescue the scientists, and we are rewarded with a cast form, which we immediately throw into the PC, never to be seen again. As we step outside, we run into May, who's already waiting for a rematch. Same as last time, May only has a team of 3, and their levels are still lagging way behind ours. Pelipper leads, and as expected, it spams Protect to stall out our moves. Annoying, but we just keep going for rollout until we finally break through and knock it out. Combuskin is up next. It eats a stage 2 rollout, goes for bulk up, and then gets obliterated next turn. Lombre is last, and while it does get off a fake out, which flinches us, we take care of them in 2 turns. With May swept aside, our next stop is meeting up with Steven to grab the Devon Scope, our ticket to clearing out the Kecleon blocking the entrance to Gym 6. Winona is a flying type specialist, which means no real type advantage or disadvantage once again for us. But before I challenge her, I make an important call. I battle every single trainer inside the gym. Why? Because the next gym badge is going to be Tate and Lisa, and if I don't stock up on some levels right now, we're going to suffer a huge time loss. After clearing out every trainer in the gym, we enter Winona's battle at level 43, and I think we're in a good position. Winona opens up with Swablu, and since this thing knows Perish Song, we immediately knock it out as fast as we can. Next up is Tropius, and this is where things start to get a little tricky. See, I wanted to start a rollout here, but I only have 1 rollout PP left from fighting all the gym trainers. Turn 1, I go for Dizzy Punch while Tropius sets up Sunny Day. This means that next turn, it can immediately use Solar Beam, and sure enough, the next turn it hits hard, taking out half of our health. We retaliate with another Dizzy Punch, and Tropius goes down. Pelipper comes out next, and this thing loves to spam Protect. Knowing this is the reason I didn't use Rollout right away. I switch up my plan and go for Hypnosis. It takes a few turns, but we eventually put it to sleep. And now it's time. We set up the rollout. Taking down the Pelipper in 2 turns, out comes Skarmory, the most defensive Pokemon on Winona's team, but at this point, our rollout chain is getting dangerous. We hit them twice, and even Skarmory's defenses aren't enough to survive this. Altaria is next, but we got something waiting for it. A stage 5 rollout. We one-shot them, and just like that, we defeated Winona without even having to go back to the PC. This means we save time, secure our 6th badge, and keep up our insane momentum. With this win under our belt, our next stop is going to be Lily Cove City. We are overleveled a lot, so I decided to take on our rival right away, even though it's meant to be done after Mount Pyre. We sweep their team with rollouts and dizzy punches. I've got to say, this spotted panda is an absolute killer. I would have never guessed that Spinda would be so good. I wonder if Blue Metal Knight knew how good Spinda would be. Either way, I'm having a blast cruising through this game in record time. Now we can backtrack to Mount Pyre and stop Team Aqua from harassing some old gravekeepers. Once we take care of them, we get the Magma Seal. This allows us to make it into Team Magma's secret hideout, where they're attempting to wake up Groudon. Deep inside their hideout, we run into Maxie. This battle goes to show how good Spinda's ability is. Maxie's first Pokemon is Mightyena. This Mightyena is known for using the move Swagger. Swagger increases the enemy's attack, but it makes them confused. This is a recipe for disaster for anyone who gets confused, because once you hit yourself in confusion, you hit yourself a lot harder because of the attack increase. But Spinda can't get confused. So that means all that happens is that you get a free stat increase and no confusion. This makes our Dizzy Punch hit that much harder. With the stat boost, we go on to sweep their team with Rollout. We leave their hideout and now we can go to Slateport, where Team Aqua is trying to steal a submarine. They escape before we could stop them, which means we have to make it to their hideout in Lily Cove City. There's not really much to talk about with this place because of how easy it was. We battle against Admin Matt and just destroy his team of only 2. After this fight, it's on to one of the toughest parts of the whole playthrough, Tate and Lisa. We make it to Mossdeep right away, and before we go into the battle against the duo, I surf around a little bit and pick up rare candies and battle all the trainers I can find. There are quite a few rare candies in Pokemon Emerald, and by the time we get back to Tate and Lisa, we have 8 rare candies in our bag and we're level 55. Another huge thing is that we stopped by this guy in Pacifidlog Town and picked up the TM for Return. Return is basically the strongest normal type move in the game that doesn't need special conditions or needs to be charged up. The strength of this move correlates to how high your Pokemon's happiness is, and with us only using a single Pokemon the whole game, its happiness is maxed out. This gives the move Return a base power of 102, which means after the stab multiplier, it has a power of 153. Before we go into the battle against Tate and Lisa, we also apply all of the rare candies to our Pokemon. There's no better time to use these, so we put all 8 of them on, bringing us up to level 63. Usually there is a ton of luck that goes into this battle, but not for Spinda. This happened on our 3rd try. We one-shot Claydol with Return. This brings out Lunatone. We hit Xatu with Return, one-shotting them as well. We end up getting put to sleep by Lunatone. This isn't good because they're using Calm Mind, which boosts their special attack and special defense. While we are asleep, we also get a special defense drop from Solrock's Psychic. We wake up after what feels like forever and land a Return on Lunatone. This does almost all of their health. After our attack, Lunatone goes for another Calm Mind, and its Citrus Berry brings it out of healing range. This is perfect because our next attack takes them out. Now, all that's left is Solrock. Solrock hits us with a Solar Beam, and the following turn, we put them to sleep. Now it's just 2 returns and we knock them out. This is the best Tate and Lisa we have ever had. We get our 7th gym badge, and more importantly, we get the TM for Calm Mind, which will be making an appearance later. Feeling on top of the world, we head into the Space Center ready to mess up Team Magma. Because we used up all of our rare candies, we are super overleveled, and none of Team Magma's members pose any threats to us. With all of them taken care of, we get an idea of where Team Aqua went, and we need to head to the Seafloor Cavern to stop them. In the Seafloor Cavern, we waste no time rushing through the cave. Once we make it to the end, Team Aqua leader Archie is waiting for us. They lead with a Mightyena, and we get the classic Swagger boost. With the boost, we knock out Mightyena in 2 rollouts. Every Pokemon goes down in 1 hit from here on out. Now that the 2 legendary Pokemon are awakened, they are fighting in the middle of Sootopolis, and we need to stop them by waking up Rayquaza. This is by far my favorite part of every playthrough. Something about this is just so nostalgic for me. Once Rayquaza makes them calm down, we are all set to take on the 8th gym. I think that we're going to be a high enough level for the Elite Four, so I don't battle any of the trainers inside of the gym. We are currently over 20 levels higher than any of their Pokemon on their team. We hit Love Disc with Return, one-shotting them, which brings out Wishcash. Surprisingly, we take them out in one shot as well. If we can one-shot a Wishcash, we're probably going to destroy Celio, and just like we thought, we took care of them in 1 hit as well. Next is Crawdaunt, and just like the last 3 Pokemon, they go down in 1 return. Kingdra is last, and unsuspectedly, They also go down in one shot by return. It's truly surprising how great Spinda is. After this battle, we are off to Victory Road. We grab up the TM for rest before we head that way, and in Victory Road, there's a very special item hiding in here. Before we get into the item, we have to do that battle against Wally and his new strong team. Wally leads with an Altaria. We opt to just go in for return and knocking them out instantly. Delcatty comes out and suffers the same fate as Altaria. This brings out the biggest problem on their team, Magneton. We go for Hypnosis right away, and promptly miss. We get hit with a Screech that lowers our defense, and the following turn we put them to sleep. Now we just use 2 returns, and we knock them out. Looking back at this, it would have been the same amount of turns to just use return 2 times, but either way, we knock them out. When Roselia comes out, we go for Psybeam. This might not have been the best idea because we didn't even one-shot them. We probably could have one-shot them with return. Because of this, we get hit with Toxic, and now our time is ticking. They heal all the way up, and we use return this time, which does in fact knock them out in 1 hit. This brings out their last Pokemon, Gardevoir. We need to take them out fast before we die from poison. Oh, we defeated them already. Great. Well, we heal up from the items that we have inside of our bag, and we head deeper into Victory Road. This hidden item in Victory Road is actually something I've never gotten before. Can you guess what it is? It's the TM for Psychic. I'm planning on pairing this with Rest and Calm Mind later in the run so I can defeat Wallace and their bulky Pokemon. After we make it through Victory Road, there's nothing left to do other than take on the Elite Four. I'm really hoping that we're a high enough level, but there's only one way for us to find out. Taking on Sydney right away, I was trying to bait out a Swagger and it just never happened. They just kept rocking me with Double Edge after Double Edge. I ended up losing on my very first run. I'm going to change up my strategy a little bit and just try again. This time I actually attack them, and they go down right away. Shiftry is next, and they survive our attack. Something kind of funny is that the following turn, Shiftry goes for Swagger and raises our attack for us. With the attack increase, there's nothing holding us back from sweeping their entire team with return. Next up is the Ghost-type Gym Leader. I really thought that I was going to use Psychic here, but turns out the Pokemon have such high special defense that it's not really effective as I thought it would be. Instead, I opted for the rollout sweeping route. Because the first Dusknoir knows Curse and Protect, I decided to put them to sleep with Hypnosis. Once we complete that, we can start up the rollout. Before we could even get too far into that, Dusclops ends up waking up and going for Protect, ruining our rollout. We put them back to sleep and start this up again. Now, this time, instead of them waking up, Phoebe uses a full restore to wake them up, but luckily our Quick Claw pops, allowing us to go first and knock them out. This brings out their Banette. They just get destroyed by a single rollout, and same goes for Sableye. Now another Banette comes out, and I think it would be a good time to put them back to sleep to start up another rollout. That's not going to happen because Banette has the ability Insomnia, which prevents them from falling asleep. Well, we might as well just go for rollout and hope for the best, I guess. We end up taking them out in just 3 turns. Their last Pokemon is another Dusclops that gets one-shot by our 4th stage rollout. This brings us to Glacia, who has killed previous runs. Well, this time Glacia has nothing on us because we click return 6 times in a row and pick up a first try victory. Up next is going to be Drake, the Dragon Trainer. This one's a lot harder than the previous battles, but with proper timing and the addition of Calm Mind and using Rest at the right time, we eventually overcome this battle. Let me show you how it went. Against their Shelgon, we get up to +4 with Calm Mind. Now we use Psychic to knock them out. Out comes Altaria, who goes for Dragon Dance 2 times to set up, but we end up knocking them out before they can even utilize their attack boosts. This brings out their Kingdra. Just like Altaria, because of the Pokemon going for Dragon Dance and Smokescreen, we end up picking up the KO without getting damaged. The next Pokemon comes out is going to be Flygon. Instead of Flygon using Dragon Dance, they actually attack us, and it hurts bad. They hit us with an Earthquake that did almost 70 damage. We retaliate with Psychic, knocking them out, which is huge for us because we were not going to be living another one of those. Out comes their last Pokemon. We know we should live this next attack, so we go for Rest. Oh man, I misclicked and I went for Psychic. They land a Rock Slide, bringing us down to only 17 health. Well, this is over. Salamence is faster than us. Our only hope is for Quick Claw to work and for us to use Rest right away. Salamence goes first, hitting us with Flamethrower. Oh, we lived! We lived on 1 HP. We used Rest and healed all the way back up to full. Now it's just a matter of time until we wake up and knock them out with Psychic. Wow, that was a little bit lucky, but we would have had it either way, so I'll count that as a win. All that's left is the battle with Wallace, and we can crown our Spinda an Elite Four champion. Wallace leads with their Wailord right away, and we start to set up Calm Minds to become more resistant to their water moves. After 2 Calm Minds, we decide to knock them down in health a little bit to save us from Water Spout. After bringing them down lower in health, we switch back to using Calm Mind. We're at +4, and now that we're low on health, we use rest to regain all of our HP. Now we kind of just play this game with Wailord where we keep using rest to keep ourselves healthy for the next fight. Eventually we wake up and knock out Wailord, bringing out their next Pokemon, Tentacruel. This works out good for us because we have boosted special attack from Calm Mind, and they're poison type, so we just go for Psychic, knocking them out in one hit. Next up is Ludicolo. We just used Return and knocked them out in one turn as well. This is going amazing for Spinda. Their next Pokemon is this bulky blue fish, Wishcash. They end up wasting their one attacking turn going for Amnesia to increase their special attack, but it's no use. We knock them out on the second turn. Gyarados is next, and we use Psychic that brings them perfectly down into the healing range. They heal back up 3 times. Even with them spamming full restores, we still end up taking them down without any damage done to us. Now it's on to the last Pokemon of the whole run, Milotic. We use Psychic on them and it does about 1/3 of their health. And we get a special drop. We take a Surf, and on the next turn, because of the special defense drop, we knock them out. Just like that, we've completed Pokemon Emerald only using Spinda. Along with this, we have also broken the speed record for the fastest time, with a final time of 6 hours and 32 minutes. This is 3.5 hours faster than Registeel completed the game. Spinda is an absolute unit with a decent base stats and good move pools to pull from. Spinda's monotyping of normal is amazing for solo runs as well. Without any big weaknesses, it does a great job staying alive. I'm excited to keep using somewhat competent Pokemon like Spinda. With Spinda's time, they're going to be topping our time finish chart by over 3 hours. Along with that, we should also mention that this is the highest level Pokemon to beat Pokemon Emerald at level 72. I think this looks like a big jump in levels, but it's in a completely different level up group than the Regis. It's really the same amount, if not less experience, but because the level up group has such a different experience curve, it seems like it's a lot higher. Once again, huge shout out to Blue Metal Knight for recommending this Pokemon for our video today. If you have any Pokemon that you'd like to see me try out, feel free to comment them down below, and make sure you subscribe to see who the next Pokemon is going to be. Until next time, thank you for being awesome, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.